Welcome back to the A to Z of networking. This time out, we're looking at networking cues. Now, anyone who knows me and my approach to networking would know that I couldn't start with anything else. I think there's too much of a focus, particularly in the social networking world, on quantity. How many connections have you got on LinkedIn? How many followers have you got on Twitter? How many friends on Facebook? You know, that carries over into the events world. How many business cards did you collect last night? How many business cards did you give out? How many numbers have you got in your phone? All of this focus on the breadth of our networks ignores the most important thing, the depth of relationships within that network. Let's focus on the quality. I would much rather have a smaller, high quality network where I know the people within it and I have deep relationships with them and we want to help each other than just lots of names and numbers. They might make me feel good, but they're not really that effective if you're looking at networking rather than just marketing. One of the great attributes of top networkers is curiosity. Asking lots of questions. And now by that, I don't mean going prepared to meetings and events with questions that you think will make you interesting to the other person. You could buy networking books with lists of questions to ask people at networking events. And when you ask those questions, you sound like someone who's read a networking book with a list of questions to ask people at networking events. You don't carry a list of pre-prepared questions into other more casual, more social conversations, and nor should you when you network. Ask questions based on what someone's just said. Ask questions based on their situation at the moment. Use your ears and listen, and base your questions on that. But Dale Carnegie said, "The sweetest sound to any man is the sound of his own name." We like to talk about ourselves, so get your network to talk about themselves by asking questions. So having said quality is more important than quantity, that doesn't mean quantity doesn't play a role. If your network is too small, you won't have the connections, the support, the ideas, the expertise that you might need. So you do need to build it to a certain level. My focus is really on getting the right balance between quality and quantity. But I would focus on where you have a lack of breadth in your network, the areas where you could meet more people and build the quantity there. Be more strategic in the way you do it. Will other people feel inspired by what you say, and so much so that they want to tell other people about it? The best way to get your message out there is for that message to be sticky and transferable. People remember it and people repeat it, and that makes you quotable. A number of people try to stand out from the crowd, to be more memorable by being quirky or edgy or dressing differently. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think if you want to be remembered, you also need to know what you want to be remembered for. And if you're networking for your career or for business, do you want to be remembered for your dress sense? Don't get me wrong. If that is authentically your style, that's absolutely fine. But don't use it as a tool just to stand out among people you meet in networking events. Remember, it's not all about you. Sometimes, particularly if you're extrovert, it's important to remember to just be quiet and listen. Give the space to other people to speak as well. And if you're in a group, or even if you're talking one-to-one, and there's someone else who is naturally quiet, encourage them and give them the space so that they can also engage with the conversation. Relationships take time to build. So don't leave networking groups or break off networking relationships because they haven't worked for you yet. Stick in there, be patient, as we said in an earlier video, and build the relationships over time. Networking isn't about the short term, it's medium to long. I always advise people that when you've met someone for the first time, follow up quickly, ideally within 24 hours. And very often people ask me, but doesn't that make me seem desperate? Networking isn't dating. It's fine to follow up quickly. While people still remember you, while they remember your conversation, while they're still committed to that conversation, don't leave it a few days and then have them scratching their heads and trying to remember who you are. There are hosts of networking opportunities, so don't throw yourself at every one. You simply won't have time to follow up and also do your job. So qualify networks out. Qualify relationships out to a degree. Find the people you really have a rapport with. Find the people you have things in common with, and identify the networks that are going to help you get closer to your goals. So those were your networking cues. I hope you found them useful. We'll see you very soon for the next instalment in the A to Z of networking.